Wealth isn't random, it's behavioral. This is the scarcity divide, where wealth strategy meets psychology. Most people think the wealthy win because they work harder or know more, but often the difference is something simpler. They understand how people make decisions, and more importantly, they know how to design those decisions. Let me show you what that looks like. One evening, a billionaire walked into a crowded high-end steakhouse. No reservation. The hostess checked the computer and said there would be about a 1 hour wait. Most people in that moment would react emotionally. Some would get frustrated. Some might try to slip the hostess a tip. Others would just leave. But the billionaire did something different. He pulled out a $100 bill and tore it clean in half. He handed one half to the hostess and said, "I'm going to the bar for a drink. If my table is ready in 10 minutes, the other half is yours." Then he walked away. What happened next was interesting. The hostess didn't check the computer. She didn't call the manager. She walked directly to a corner table, cleared it herself, and seated him within 5 minutes. Because the incentive was certain. People don't work hardest for possible rewards. They work hardest for guaranteed outcomes. A vague tip is a maybe. A clear reward with a clear condition activates motivation instantly. 10 minutes, one outcome, simple, transparent, certainty beats chance every time. The next day, that same billionaire walked into a small cafe. The owner looked frustrated. Business was slow. Everyone was ordering the small coffee for $3. Almost nobody bought the large cup for $7. Customers said it felt too expensive. The billionaire took a sip of the coffee and nodded. "They're right," he said. "The problem isn't the price. The problem is the comparison." Then he gave the owner a strange piece of advice. Add a medium cup to the menu. Price it at $6.50. The owner frowned. "That's almost the same price as the large." "No one will buy it," the billionaire smiled. "Exactly. No one is supposed to. The medium cup wasn't meant to sell. It was meant to change the comparison. Right now, customers were choosing between $3 and $7. That feels like a big jump. $3 feels reasonable. $7 feels like a splurge. But when you introduce a medium at $6.50, the comparison shifts. Customers stop comparing 3 versus 7. They start comparing $6.50 versus 7, and suddenly the large feels like a bargain. For just 50 cents more, they get almost double the coffee. Now the large doesn't feel expensive. It feels smart. People feel like they're beating the system, and that feeling changes behavior. 3 days later, the billionaire returned. The cafe was packed. The owner rushed over, excited. Something incredible had happened. Nearly 80% of customers were now buying the large cup. Revenue doubled. Without a single new customer, nothing about the product changed. The coffee was the same. The customers were the same. The only thing that changed was the context of the decision. This is something wealthy thinkers understand deeply. People rarely judge value by absolute price. They judge value by comparison. If you control the comparison, you influence the decision. Look back at the steakhouse. The hostess didn't respond to generosity. She responded to certainty. The reward was clear. The timeline was clear. The outcome was guaranteed. Clarity drives action. Now look at the cafe. Customers weren't being irrational. They were responding logically to the choices presented. $3 versus $7 feels expensive. $6.50 versus 7 feels like a deal. The product didn't change, the comparison did, and that changed behavior. This is what many wealthy people understand that others miss. They don't just sell products. They design decision environments. They structure incentives. They structure comparisons. They structure choices so the best option becomes obvious. Most people move through the world reacting to decisions. Wealth builders learn to design them, and that difference shows up everywhere. In pricing, in negotiations, in business, even in personal finance. Because once you understand how people make decisions, you stop guessing and start engineering outcomes. That's why the rich often get richer, not because they know secret information, but because they understand human behavior. They see the invisible forces shaping decisions, and they use them. So here's something to think about. The next time you're about to buy something, ask yourself a simple question. Am I choosing freely? Or am I responding to a comparison someone carefully designed? Because in most situations, someone already designed the choice. The real divide is understanding when that's happening. If this changed how you think about money, subscribe. Because the divide isn't financial, it's psychological. This is the scarcity divide.